Alrighty, my name is Luis Martinez, and today we'll be talking about free trade agreement. This is probably my fourth, fifth time recording this because we're gonna go over this quick because I do have a lot of information on here. What is free trade agreement? A free trade agreement is a pact between countries to reduce, eliminate trade barriers such as tariffs and quotas, and to streamline goods and services exchange. So, for example, what free trade agreement is an agreement between two countries that each country has something that the other country needs. So, for example, U.S. has oil, China has lumber. We make a free trade agreement between each other to lower tariffs or possibly eliminate them to make a reasonable cost uh, you know, for the trade to happen. The purpose of it to improve market access, enhance efficiency, and promote comparative advantage. Examples of free trade agreements. I have three examples on here. We'll run through them pretty quick. USMCA, United States Mexico Canada Agreement. It was established in July 2020. Key features: eliminates tariffs on most goods, including construction materials, steel, aluminum, and lumber. Strengthens labor and environmental standards. Encourages digital trade and e-commerce. How this impacts construction. It helped cheaper Mexican steel and Canadian lumber for U.S. builders. So this helped, with U.S. builders to make low costs in construction since they were able to get low cost in materials. This is an advantage that you get from your free trade agreements. It also helps with easier cross-border movement of skilled workers. So this essentially means your temporary visas. It was more easy accessible to get a temporary visas to get your skilled workers from across borders. Another example we have here is CPTPP, Compressive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. There's 11 members in total, but the heavy hitters are Japan, Canada, Australia, Mexico, Singapore, and Vietnam. Cuts tariffs in 95% of goods. How it impacts on construction. Cheaper imports of Japanese construction tech and Australian raw materials. More infrastructure investments in the Southeast Asia. Another example we have here is the EU-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement. The EPA was effective in February 2019. How it impacts on construction. European firms gains better access to Japan's high-tech construction market. Japanese firms export more robotic and automation tech to the EU. How free trade agreements negatively affect construction. So one con that we have here that it can increase competition from foreign firms. Local contractors may struggle against large multinational companies that enter the market due to ease trade rules. An example of this, after NAFTA, Mexican construction firms faced stiff competition from the US and Canadian companies in infrastructure projects. Results, smaller domestic firms may lose contracts or be forced into mergers. So, for example, just how it said, after NAFTA, Mexican construction firms face a stiff competition from US and Canadian companies in infrastructure projects. Dependence on imported materials, supply chain risks, cheaper foreign materials like steel, cement, glass may replace local production risk if trade disputes or global crisis like, for example, COVID-19 disrupts. It disrupts the supply chains and construction projects face delays, and we definitely do not want to face delays in construction projects because that could lead to more cost. Lower labor standards and wage suppression. So FTAs, which is free trade agreements, may allow cheaper foreign labor to enter under relaxed visa rules. For example, under the Gulf Cooperation Council, free trade agreements, migrant construction workers in the Middle East often face poor wages and working conditions. Uh, Results, local workers may use reduced wages due to the increased labor competition. Pros, how does free trade agreements have a positive effect on construction? Example number one, lower costs on construction materials. We already touched on this a little bit. So it can help reduce or eliminate tariffs on imported materials like steel, cement, aluminum, glass, or machinery. This helps, with low cost in construction. Uh, Next would be access to advanced and technology of innovations. So this would be easier to import high-tech equipment like 3D printers, drones, and BIM softwares, like anything that involves electrical. Easier movement of skilled labor. So this would we touched on this. This would be your temp visas. It'd be easier to get your visas for your engineers, architects, and specialized workers. So your credibility from another nation could be valued the same in another nation. Here we have some examples. We're running low on time. Recap. So this was a recap of what we talked about today. We talked about what is the free trade agreement, examples of the free trade agreements, cons and pros. So that here will wrap up my presentation. Thank you.